MSP Gabor2. Syrens of Red Sea. Prologue and Part1. Plans, Narrated Music Mystery. Prologue in 4 chapters. Chapter I, The Sacred Interruption. The first rays of the sun bled over the horizon, painting the ziggurat of Babylon in hues of molten gold. King Nabonidus stood before the golden altar of Marduk, the air thick with the scent of frankincense and charred offerings. He raised his hands, his lips forming the ancient incantations to ensure the prosperity of his empire. Just as he was about to offer the final libation, the heavy bronze doors to the sanctuary burst open. A servant, pale and trembling, stumbled into the sacred space, his eyes wide with unadulterated terror. Nabonidus spun around, his face a mask of cold fury. "By the gods, you fool!" he roared, his voice echoing off the limestone walls. "What madness possesses you to disrupt the king during the morning rites? For this transgression, your life belongs to the executioner." Chapter 2, The Abomination at the Marketplace. The servant fell to his knees, pressing his forehead against the cold floor. "My king, forgive me, but the city is in a state of chaos. A creature has emerged, a monstrosity that defies the laws of nature." He described a being that had crawled from the direction of the Red Sea, a creature with the torso and face of a man, yet limbs like a beast and a body encased in shimmering, iridescent scales. "It appeared in the marketplace, sire. The laborers have abandoned their work, the stalls are empty. The people gather in hushed awe. They say it speaks with the wisdom of the ancients. Some remember legends from your grandfather's time, but this one is different. It walked out of the depths of the ocean to walk among us." The people had already christened it Owens, for it had arrived from the vast, dark embrace of the sea. Chapter 3, The Oracle of the Deep. Owens sat in the center of the square, surrounded by a mesmerized crowd. It spoke with a voice like grinding stones beneath a waterfall, teaching the hungry masses the secrets of the hearth, which herbs brought life, how to cure meats, and how to master the flame to sustain the soul. It claimed that it must return to the abyss when the sun dipped below the earth, but until then, its wisdom was theirs to harvest. The king's frustration boiled over into suspicion. He signaled his captain of the guard, a man whose loyalty was matched only by his ruthlessness. "Bring this creature to the ziggurat," Nabonidus commanded, his eyes narrowing. "If it is a god, it shall bow to Marduk. If it is a demon, it shall burn." Chapter 4, The Secrets of the Sand. Surrounded by a ring of iron-clad spears, the creature reached the summit of the ziggurat. It did not cower before the Babylonian monarch, it stood with an unsettling, fluid grace. "I offer you a kingdom of paradise, Babylon, if only you have the ears to listen," Owens intoned. Nabonidus scoffed, gripping his scepter. "Why should I trust a creature that smells of brine and salt? What could you possibly know of the crown?" Owens smiled, revealing rows of sharp, pearlescent teeth. "I know the weight of your name, the scars of your past, and the crumbling fate of your future." The king's eyebrow arched in cynical challenge. "Are you merely a charlatan, some disguised stargazer?" He gestured to the ceiling of the secret chamber, where a unique glass roof, fashioned from refined Egyptian sand, allowed the king to map the movements of the heavens. Owens nodded slowly toward the sky. "Your grandfather understood the value of that glass, king. It was never just sand, it was the key to the stars. And I am the one who gave it to him." Part 1. The Plan. The Mediterranean sunset painted the balcony in shades of bruised purple and gold, but Gabor barely noticed. He was pacing, his hands tracing excited patterns in the air, his eyes locked onto Andy. She sat gracefully in a wicker chair, her violin case resting at her feet like a loyal pet. She was still smiling from his chaotic retelling of their recent brush with danger in the Aegean, a tale that involved a suspicious Greek ferry, a hidden Turkish cove, and a discovery that still made her skin prickle. "Andy, listen," Gabor urged, leaning over the railing. The Aegean was just the prologue. The real thread, one that connects the myth to the machine, leads to Caesarea. Think about it. The Roman emperors, the dwarf kings, the shadows of Caesarion, they were playing with stolen fire. But the spark? The spark came from them. He tapped his phone screen, pulling up the notes he'd been obsessing over for weeks. We have to go. Caesarea, then Armenia. These aren't just myths, Andy. They are the record keepers of humanity. Andy laughed, a low, melodic sound that seemed to hum against the evening air. She reached out, catching his sleeve to steady his restless energy. You're impossible, Gabor. You talk about these ancient sirens as if they're waiting for us with a map. They aren't just sirens, he countered, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Eusebius knew. He recorded what they gave us: the laws, the arts, the very foundations of civilization. If the underwater archaeology in Israel is finding what I think they're finding, we're looking at a technological footprint that shouldn't exist. He turned the screen toward her, pointing to the text he had spent days meticulously preparing. Look at this. This isn't poetry, it's a technical log. Then in the days of Ammonon, a creature called Idodion, having a composite form of human and fish, emerged from the Red Sea. After Ammonon, a Megalarus of Potibiblan reigned for 18 sars, and after him, the shepherd Daeonus of Potibiblan reigned for 10 sars. In his days, 4 hybrid beings, in Armenian, Juskaperik, again emerged from the Red Sea, of the same human fish type as Idodion. Then Edovanchus, of the city of Potibiblan, reigned for 18 sars. In his reign, another human fish creature emerged from the Red Sea, who was called Oticon. It says that they all originated from Oans, and describes them concisely, one by one. It happened that in the first year, within the borders of Babylon, a formidable creature emerged from the Red Sea, who was named Oans. As Apollodorus writes in his book, this creature had the entire body of a fish. Yet, attached to the head of the fish was another proper human head, and at the tail were a pair of human feet, and he could speak in a human tongue. The image likeness of Oans has survived to this day. Furthermore, it states that this creature spent the day among men, completely abstaining from any kind of food, teaching men letters and the techniques of various arts, including the building of cities and temples, the knowledge of laws, the nature of weights and measures, how to gather seeds and fruits. Indeed, he taught humanity everything that is necessary for daily life on earth. From that time on, no one individual has discovered anything more. Now, when the sun set, the creature Oans returned again to the sea, remaining in the vast expanse of waters until morning. Thus, he lived the life of an amphibian. Furthermore, they say that Oans wrote about deeds and virtues, bestowing words and wisdom upon humanity. The account extends from the report of Oans to Belus, for more than 40 myriads. During the reign of Almelin, a second Anidastus emerged from the sea. He was a creature like Oans, having the appearance of a demigod hero. Andy read the lines slowly, the ancient words casting a strange, heavy silence over the balcony. She looked back at Gabor, her expression softening from amusement to something more thoughtful. You truly believe it, she said quietly. That they were something else. Not gods, but technicians? I believe they left a trail, Gabor insisted, his eyes shining. And if we go to Caesarea, if we look at those submerged ruins, maybe we won't just find broken marble. Maybe we find the proof that they didn't just teach us how to build temples, they taught us how to build better. Andy stood up, her hand resting on the violin case, her gaze drifting toward the horizon where the sea met the sky. A sea palace, she mused, a small, adventurous spark igniting in her eyes. If you're right, Gabor, if they really were using robots to build our history, then finding it would be worth any amount of danger. She looked at him and smiled, the kind of smile that meant he had already won. Book the tickets. But if we find a mechanical siren, you're the one talking to it. Historical context source. Which chapter is this from? The quotes are taken from Book I of the Chronicon, Chronicle, by Eusebius of Caesarea, titled Caldiorum Historia or Chronographia. The text is essentially Eusebius quoting the writings of the Babylonian priest Gabor2, which he accessed through the Greek historian Apollodorus. Why did it survive in an Armenian translation? The original Greek version of Eusebius' Chronicon, written around 325 AD, was lost over the centuries. However, the work survived in two crucial forms. Armenian translation, the Vergio Armeniaca, produced in the 6th century, is considered a much more faithful reflection of the original Greek text. Saint Jerome's Latin translation, Jerome adapted and expanded the work for Western readers. Until the 19th century, scholars primarily knew the work through the incomplete Latin fragments. A clearer picture emerged only when the Armenian manuscripts were brought to Europe. This is why scholars often refer to the Armenian translation. The term Juskaperik, meaning hybrid or monster-like beings, remains preserved specifically in this source, capturing Eusebius' attempt to document the Babylonian accounts as recorded by Gabor2.